What's up, fish gang? Welcome back to Monster Fish Only, aka Mofo Fish. We talk about monster fish and monster tanks. I'm your host, OGP, and today we're talking about the Pacu fish. The Pacu fish. The Pacu fish. That's right, the big boy. I mean, you might as well be keeping a freaking whale. Yo, what? DJ, man, run the intro.
Hey, fish gang, you know we come alive from the fish tank. Don't be getting mad cause your fish lame. Yeah, every time you hit I do a water change. Fish gang, you know we come alive from the fish tank. Don't be getting mad cause your fish lame. Yeah, every time you hit I do a water change. Woo! Water change, 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 water change. Yeah, I really got a jag in a red tail. Fish gang smooth like Denzel. Your boyfriend soft like X.
Alright, so let's dive in. The Pacu fish. This fish is an awesome fish to keep. All jokes aside, it seems to be pretty intelligent. I've had mine for about, I think somewhere between 6 to 8 months. And he got pretty large, pretty fast. No joke. I'd probably shoot him somewhere around 10 inches. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. I have to take him out and measure him. We're actually flipping him over to a different tank here soon. But yeah, they grow very fast, very large, very fast. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about habits, eating habits. We're talking about the diet, obviously it goes hand in hand with that. We're going to talk about size, tank mates, and all that cool stuff. So let's go ahead and dive in. I've got some stuff pulled up here. I'm kind of just going to wing it a little bit, and we're going to try something different, try something new. So let's go ahead and just hop in. So how big do the Pacu fish actually get? So apparently they can get up to about 42 inches long and weigh anywhere from 2 pounds to 97 pounds. Now obviously there's always going to be an anomaly in this scenario, but you can pretty much expect this fish to get massive. I'm not going to say you're going to have a 97-pound fish growing inside of your aquarium. However, you're going to get a large fish. So even if it only gets to 24 inches, weighs in at 4 or 5, 10 pounds, that's still a huge fish. And you have to take that into consideration before you go and purchase it when it's this little tiny thing about the size of a silver dollar, in your LFS. So keep those things in mind as you progress. The world record for one of these bad boys, so take that with a grain of salt, that's what they've only found and been able to weigh, is 71 pounds. Still huge. So again, people are saying 92 pounds. Maybe that's some guy, on a boat somewhere. It's like, oh, it's a 100-pound fish. This is crazy. But the world record is 71 pounds. There are actually 3 species of this, or subspecies of this fish. You have the black Pacu, which is the largest of them all. And that's the one that gets like 97 pounds. And those are the ones that I think might have been on the river monsters, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me down in the comment section. But those typically do get to about 3.5 feet long. Now mind you, that's out there in the wild, with all this crazy amounts of water and all this space and all that good stuff. But still, the fish is going to get large, very fast, regardless of the size of the tank. Growing to the size of the tank, there's so much science into that, but just know that that's the last thing you need to worry about. The fish is going to continue to grow. There's the parrot Pacu, which pretty much just has that weird kind of beak, that kind of eagle-like beak. And not my favorite, but to each his own. And then there's the red belly Pacu. That's the one that I own. That one to me looks the best. I love the red underneath. I love the really natural look of the silver and then the black fins. And I just really like the look and the design of that fish, especially when it's younger. As it gets a little bit older, some of those colors do fade, but it still is a very impressive looking species. So the Pacu fish got its name, I believe it's from a language that originated in South America, and yeah, I guess it means quick eater. So Pacu means quick eater. Pretty cool, for show. So how can you tell the difference between a piranha and a Pacu? So the Pacu obviously is going to be much larger, and let's just take a second out and thank whoever you pray to. I pray to God, but whoever you pray to, that a piranha does not get as large as a Pacu, because we don't need a 3-foot piranha swimming around in a huge school just chomping up stuff. It just wouldn't be good for anybody. But obviously the size is the first thing. Pacus get much larger. Piranhas usually stay about 1 foot long. Some of them could get, 1.5 to 2 feet, but again, that's anomalies. The colors, kind of difficult to tell, but the one thing that you can look for, and I actually heard a story about a guy from a certain state who wanted to keep a Pacu, or correction, wanted to keep a piranha, and could not keep a Pacu or a piranha in his state legally. Sometimes people from the pet stores will ship them in, and a piranha will get mixed in with Pacus by accident. So I'm not recommending you do this, but there's a way to tell. Pay very close attention. A piranha's jaw will stick out just a little bit further, kind of has that underbite look. A Pacu will not have that. It'll just go smooth and it'll become deep and overbite. So if you go into the store and you see one that has a slight protruding, jaw, high probability that it's probably a piranha. So that's the best way to tell as juveniles. I would never recommend this because it's not really my thing. I do eat seafood every now and then, but again, it's not really my thing. But yes, you can eat Pacu fish. I'm not gonna eat a pet. It's weird. But yeah, you can eat Pacu fish. Apparently they do taste pretty good. Apparently they taste like tilapia. So that's where you're at with it. Are Pacu fish aggressive? Great question. So the one that I have, not really, but he was kind of snippy when I first got him with some of the other people. Could that have been just them establishing their domain and their hierarchy? Sure. And every now and then he did get pretty snippy. Believe it or not, I have a group of just left my brain. Silver dollars, some red hook silver dollars. Sorry about that. And they boxed it out quite a bit. Those red hook silver dollars are actually pretty mean and pretty nasty. Everybody told me they were super nice, so I got them. And then when they got about this big around, they started getting really mean. And then the Pacu actually, they were cool with each other, and they schooled together, they swim around, everything was all good. And the Pacu started getting a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, and then they just started boxing it out a little bit. The Pacu obviously was victorious, and the dominant male of the red hooks eventually calmed down. But still, they did get a little snippy, and he is a little snippy with some of the Oscars and some of the other species that I do keep in there. So one of the, I guess most notable things about Pacus is their teeth. They do have human-like teeth. If you've never seen it before, it can kind of freak you out a little bit to see like a fish that has human-like teeth. It kind of freaks people out, but once you've seen it, you've seen it. You know what I mean? But that's kind of their thing. Be careful because they do bite. They'll probably just, it'll be, thinking it's just food. If you put your fingers or something in a tank, it'll go after it. So it's not they're not like attacking you, necessarily. But they can bite. They do have extremely powerful jaws. So keep that in mind. Average lifespan of the fish of this species, somewhere around 15 to 25 years. I think the oldest one was 43 years old. So keep in mind, it will be a very long commitment. I guess we'll talk about this. So Pacu fish are extremely adaptable. I can give you a perfect example of that. Inside of my tank, I filled the tanks up too high, didn't realize it, and as you know, as a responsible fish keeper, the water needs to be a little bit lower than the top because it helps with the dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen is created when the water returns back in, breaks, causes the surface agitation, and then that creates the dissolved oxygen inside the tank. I filled my tank up too much, None of that was happening between either of my my filters, my 2 filters on there that I had, and came back like 3 or 4 hours later, and all my fish were pretty much gasping for air at the top of the tank, and I was like, holy crap, what do I do? And I've got huge catfish in there, and I have a albino channel, and I also have a blue channel catfish, and the blue channel catfish was almost snow white, like completely deprived of oxygen, and I was freaking out. The Paku was the only one in there who was swimming around like nothing happened, because apparently they have a special feature where they're extremely adaptable, and apparently they can poke their bottom jaw out, and it helps them to get more water in and get more oxygen out of the water somehow. So they're extremely adaptable. They can adapt to high temperatures and low temperatures. Anything below 64, 63, they'll probably stop eating, but they'll still be alive, you know, still survive anything 59 degrees. So they're extremely adaptable. In the wild, let's talk about what they eat. So in the wild, they consume things like nuts, fruits, seeds. They'll wait for food to kind of like fall into the water. They'll pounce on it. They do eat smaller fish, so keep that in mind. It's not their favorite thing, but they will if they're hungry enough. They're omnivores, so they will go after it. From what I feed my Paku, I do eat anything. So if I throw a piece of cod in there, he'll tear it up. If I throw some seaweed in there, tear it up. Some lettuce, tear it up. You know, any type of pellets, he will tear it up. Doesn't matter. He really enjoys the massivore pellets. He loves those things. So keep that in mind. That's when he really started packing some size on. I noticed how much he really liked those. So he would really indulge in those. So I started slapping a couple of those in there. The only thing I can say about them is they kind of muck the water if you feed too much. You'll get like a brownish or reddish tint, which is an easy fix. Just do a quick water change and the 50% water change, and just let everything be as normal. Stop feeding for a couple days. The tank will go back to clear water, as long as your parameters are the way it's supposed to be. Where are they normally found? Pretty much South America, you know, Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, you know, places like that, along, you know, the river basins and stuff. That's pretty much where they're hanging out at, where there's nice warm water. They are technically an invasive species here in America, because, you know, irresponsible fish keepers release them, you know, into the wild. So Florida and apparently Texas, and also apparently out in Boston as well. They've got a problem with that. So, you know, there's irresponsible people everywhere, from the very top of the country all the way down to the bottom, apparently. So, again, if you're gonna get this fish, keep in mind that you're gonna need a large tank. How large of a tank are we talking here? A bare minimum 250 gallon. You can grow it out to 125. It'll probably buy you about a year and a half, maybe 2 years of time. But eventually this fish is going to get very large. They do have a very large bio load. So keep that in mind too. So heavy filtration, and a lot of space to swim. They are an incredibly fun species to keep. They are very social. They come up to the front of the tank and they bang on the glass and they'll swim around and beg for food all day. But just keep in mind, if you're going to take this in as a pet, you need to take care of it. You need to be there for it. You need to give it the best life it possibly can live. And that would be as simple as getting it a 240 or a 250. Can you do that? Is that affordable? It is. But you might need to save up, which is fine. So just save up prior to making that commitment. You know, again, it is what it is. I can't sit here and say that I walk on water, and I've done that for all my fish. But I have a little bit of a unique scenario, so we are stepping up to a house here soon. We have a plan for a very massive tank. I'm not going to say how massive because I'd like to save that for another video, but just understand that this is going to be huge. And I think my Paku is going to really enjoy that, along with many of the other species that I keep. And we're going to give them a large enough tank where they can be housed together safely and enjoyable, not only for the fish, but also for us as the enthusiasts, as the hobbyists, to enjoy them. Because it's not fun watching a fish, you know, fight with another one and not be healthy and not be happy. It's a mess. You ruin the hobby. Also, bear in mind, less is more. I'm learning that as I enjoy this hobby more. So a couple fish inside of the tank look much better than 300 stuffed inside of a very small, tank. It just doesn't look as good. It's not aesthetically pleasing. The fish are stressed. It's just not good. So come up with plans for your tanks. If you're new to the hobby, you're new to monster fish keeping, come up with a thorough, genuine plan. Trust me, take your time. The fish aren't going anywhere. The best way to enjoy the hobby is through planning, money, time, and energy. And it makes it so much more worth it when you have crystal clear water and big healthy fish running around. That's super impressive and makes all your friends go, wow, what the heck is this? My crazy fish friend guy, he's crazy, but it's kind of cool. That's the response you want to get out of it. Not, oh yeah, look at all that crab in the tank. That's stupid. Alright? So be a responsible fish keeper. Get the big boy. You want the big boy. I guess the last thing we'll go over will be suitable tank mates. So it'll pretty much just be anything that can't fit inside its mouth, for the most part. Larger, more peaceful fish is going to be better. So, like a giant piranha, that would probably be, a good fit for it. Large, docile catfish would be a good fit for it. I'm currently keeping it with some Oscars. I see a lot of people do that. They usually get along just fine. Be careful with other South American, cichlids, or any American cichlids in general, because they can be a little bit too aggressive for Paku. They can hold their own, but sometimes, just obviously depending on personality of the species, can be a little bit too aggressive. So keep that in mind. For the most part, I've seen none. I've seen no problems, between the various species I keep mine with. So I've got a red tail in there. They don't bother each other. And I think, I still got my red tiger moto in there, which is an extremely aggressive, fish. If you don't know what the red tiger moto is, it's extremely aggressive. It's the smallest of the Parachromis species. He kind of just hangs out. I know it's a male, but he kind of just hangs out on the left side of the tank, and he gets a little, territorial over about 1.5 feet of space on the left side of the tank. And as long as nobody goes over there, he's not chasing everybody around. He's not bothering anybody. I can keep the temperature a little bit cooler, somewhere around 70 degrees. That does help with the aggression. So bear that in mind as well. So again, you can pretty much keep them with whatever you want. You just have to bear in mind that if it's too small, they're going to eat it, and if it's too aggressive, they're going to fight. That's where we're at. But yeah, other than that, that's all we got for you today. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you guys checking out the channel. I've got plenty of other cool videos too, so go ahead and check those out as well. Remember, if you haven't subscribed already, like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really matters. This takes a lot of time and a lot of work, and I don't usually like to say stuff like that, but it does take a lot of energy to keep up with all the tanks and work a full-time job and do all this other stuff, and also make the videos. I do all this by myself. So I film, I edit, I plan, I research, I do all the maintenance, I do everything myself. So it really, 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 really means the world to me when somebody subscribes, that says, hey, I like what you got going on here. And that really, really means a lot. So I genuinely appreciate everybody. I think last time I checked, we're up to 81. That is so huge. That's incredible. The fact that even just one person said, hey, this dude's got something cool here. So we're pushing it. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're on a slow, steady journey to that. So please continue to engage with us and give me any ideas for videos, anything you want to see. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Do whatever you want to do. All right? We're out the tank. Peace.
Hey you, fish food. If you subscribe to the channel already, then welcome to the fish game. But if you haven't, shame on you. Keep in mind, every time you subscribe to a channel, particularly maybe this one, your fish live a little bit longer. It's science. It's real science. But, in all seriousness, you get a chance to win some free stuff. So hit the subscribe button, enter for your chance to win. All you have to do is just subscribe. It's going to be a Sun canister filter, the 304B, rated for like 525 gallons per hour. I wouldn't give you guys something that I don't personally use or I haven't personally tested, so I do have it on 3 of my tanks. I've got it on this 75 here, and I've got it on 2 125s. So we will be giving it to one of our lucky viewers for absolutely free.
All you have to do is just hit the subscribe button, comment you love mofo fish, and hit that like button. We're out the tank.